Hey, welcome back to Chaplain Chat. I've had Grace on this before, and Grace has, has been about a month. How long have you been our health coach?
Yeah, beginning of September.
Yeah, okay.
It has been right
And
up well over a month.
she's my daughter Erica's health coach, Gail's health coach, and I'm saying mine too. And we did a Zoom already
Hmm.
about what it is to be a health coach and say that word again.
Optavia.
Octavia
Optavia.
health coach. And when we're all done with this, and if you want to know more about Grace, and I hope you do, connect with me.
Hmm.
And then I will share with you how to connect with Grace, and I'll do a email with her and you. We'll put it all. And anyway, and I'll get back with Grace, and you're going to want to connect with Grace. Grace, we started, or actually, I think Gail and Erica started because, well, like a lot of people, they want to kind of lose weight, and that's okay. And by the way, I wanted to weird, but I wanted to drop at least 7 or 8 pounds, and it was really. And anyway, I I'm doing it. We're doing it. This is fantastic. But and when you become a part of this, you get these big books, and there's two of them, and this is called Habits of Health, Dr. A's Habits of Health and Your Life book. These are
Hmm.
big puppies, and I'm enjoying reading them
Hmm.
and taking notes on it. Um, and I'm getting to this stuff about emotions. My gosh, what do emotions have to do with anything? It's losing weight or anything. So that's our thought. Talk to us.
Emotions have a lot to do with your health. A lot of reasons why people get unhealthy have to do with emotions, but also why people can turn around their health and how they respond to those emotions. So it can be a good thing.
It could be a good thing.
Good thing. Yeah. I used to think they had nothing to do with each other, that, that my physical health was in this nice, pretty box and my
Yeah,
emotions in this
yeah.
pretty box. And yeah, they actually have a lot to do with each other, along with like finances, your spiritual, family, relationships. Emotions has to do with all of those. And if you're not responding in a healthy way, it can have a negative impact on those others. And if you're responding to the emotions in a healthy way, it could have a positive impact on those other things.
How have you responded in a negative way?
Well, for most of my life, I didn't know what to do with those emotions. And so I would just shove them down. I just would try to ignore and say, they're not there. I don't have a feeling about this. And it's kind of like putting garbage into a garbage can. If you keep putting garbage into the garbage can, but you never empty it, eventually it will erupt. And so I remember like multiple people in my life could tell that there was something wrong, and they would ask me and I'd say, no, nothing's wrong. And I had one friend in college who was close. He said, when you're ready to talk, I'm here. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with that. And then my husband, I can't remember, I think it was right after we got married, he could tell when something was wrong, and he asked me what was wrong, and I said nothing, and he said, liar. And I'm like,
He
do
said
not call me a
liar.
liar. He called me a liar. How dare he? But it was what I needed to hear, because he said, Grace, there is clearly something wrong. So when you say nothing is wrong, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to me. And
He's a
that's
wise man.
he's a brave man.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like, but
brave and wise.
brave, but very wise. And
And,
what that did was it
by the way,
opened
what's his
the door
first
for
name?
me.
What's his first name again?
John, it's a good
Oh,
name.
John, of
Yeah.
course.
It's a good
So
name.
anyway,
Um,
yeah. So
so
he
yeah.
called you on that.
He called me on it, and that was a game changer for me. And this was about the time, not too much later. That was the beginning of our marriage. And then, man, I think it was trying to remember how old I think about 6 years later or
Wow.
something, where I
Wow.
started my health journey, and my coach started talking to me about these
And you
things
got a
too.
coach. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and so that was probably the most transformational part of our health journey, was learning how to identify what I was feeling and
Mm.
what to do with that, how to use that for good. And so jump ahead a few years, I started my health journey, and Dr. Anderson, who is our medical director and co-founder, who wrote these books. That's actually Dr. A right there. He started teaching us coaches about emotional management. And so my coach, before he even finished that life book, my coach started talking to me about this, about how to identify the emotions. And I remember thinking, but I know, duh, I have emotions, but I didn't know how much I buried them. I didn't know how much I was letting my emotions really lead how I responded to things. I didn't realize that until I started getting healthy. And then we started talking about some of those things. And so over a series of years, like I've been coaching now for 17 years.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it has been a journey of learning how to recognize that God created us. I believe God created us
Wow.
intentionally to have emotions and to use them as signals to get our attention to say, hey, Grace,
Wow.
there is something wrong. There's nothing wrong with having an emotion. I'm giving you that emotion to signal there is something up. I
Oh,
want
wow.
to help you grow or adjust or change whatever, because there's something going on. So it's his way of signaling that something needs to change. It's also his way of signaling that, hey, what's going on is a good thing.
Oh, it could be.
Enjoy
Yeah.
it. So some emotions, remember, there's good emotions and
Yeah,
bad
there.
emotions. But it's not necessarily one or the other. They're just plain, they're emotions that you have in response to something happening. And it's learning how to recognize what emotion you're feeling and then how to use it for good. So we're going to just touch on that part right now. Eventually we're going to have some other conversations. It sounds like that we'll talk about some tools that we have to help you process those emotions. I'm not a counselor, but we have some amazing tools in this study that can teach you basics of how to recognize an emotion and what to do with it, so that instead of running to emotional eating to cope with something, that you can learn how to respond to that emotion in a healthy way, and so that it can be used as a tool to grow healthier in your whole life.
So how do we find the emotions? Or I guess, so am I ready to do this now?
Yep, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, John and I were talking, and
We
I
were
had shown him a
practicing this.
picture before. But before you share that, John, I
Okay.
wanted to give an example of
Okay.
how this can be so valuable.
Okay.
And
Oh,
so
very good.
I'm thinking back to a couple years ago. We were talking with our daughter. At the time, she was early high school. And there was something going on. And I remember my husband and I and her were sitting there talking, and the situation was she was in trouble for something. And we were kind of frustrated as parents because we're thought, why are you not paying attention? Raise your hand if you've ever had a hard time communicating with your children.
Well,
And we thought she wasn't taking it seriously. Well, she starts crying and choking up to the point she could hardly even talk. I had just been learning this, had been applying this to myself. And here I'm watching my daughter get all emotional. I said, honey, can you close your eyes and take some deep breaths in and out? And I had her do it a couple times, just closing, going. And I said, when you let that breath out, where do you feel that? And she's like, right here. And I said, and all of a sudden, because what I had just learned, I was like, oh, thank you, God. Here we thought our daughter was not taking this seriously. And it wasn't frustration that was making her cry. It was sadness. So, John, I'm going to ask you to pull up that picture I shared with
and I'm glad I could do this now.
you. We have
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, then share. Okay, I remember now.
There we go. Okay. Oh,
No, what happened?
okay. Go down to,
She,
it's okay. Go down to documents on the bottom of your middle screen. See that yellow envelope?
oh, down here.
Yep. Click on that.
Oh, so
You guys are
proud.
learning how to open things. Now go to the left and go to downloads.
Oh, up here.
Go to downloads. Click on that. And that very top one, that 34643. Double click.
All right.
Now
Yeah.
go over to the top right and click on that square.
Top right.
Top right, click on the square. Yeah,
Right
double
here.
click that. There you go.
Okay,
Okay.
and then when I stop, oh, then it says stop to share.
Yeah, don't do stop share yet.
I'm
We
not
want them
doing
to
that.
be able to see
Okay,
them
all
a little
right,
bit.
we did it.
Okay.
Woo,
So
all right.
now think about the situation I just explained with my daughter. She was feeling it right here. Now, if you look on this picture, that chest, if you want to use your mouse to kind of circle that
yeah.
there, that chest is where she was feeling it. Plus, look at the dot by the throat. Plus,
Oh.
look at the eyes. So normally we're like, when someone's crying, we think
no.
sadness or happy tears. That one's an easy one, but it was also making her, she was getting choked up and she was feeling it here. That is sadness. When we realized she was sad about this situation, sad that she had made that decision, sad that this was happening and she had let us down, it changed the direction of our conversation. And all of a sudden we were like, honey, let's talk about this. Why do you feel sad about that? And she's like, I feel like I let you down. I feel like I let you down. And it led to a whole, instead of a frustrated parent-daughter conversation, it became a, we got to meet our daughter where she was at and walk through that sadness. We're like, honey, we're not disappointed in you. That was just a, you made a decision. Let's talk about that. And so what I have seen, what this did for me was it helped me start identifying what I was feeling. Now remember, this has been years of me not knowing how to recognize what I was feeling. And so before I have him close the screen, I'm going to explain. So sadness, there's like 5 main emotions. There's lots of emotions you could have, but this is like 5 main emotions. And so if you look there, sadness, right there, you'll feel it. You can feel it in your eyes. You can feel it in your throat. You can feel it in your upper chest. May not be all 3, but all of those are a signal. If you're feeling it there, that's a signal you're having sadness about something. Anger shows up in your jaw. That's why people can get jaw aches. Is it TMJ that people get? Jaw, your neck, if you're having neck problems, or your shoulders. Like the shoulders is an easy one. Like I've noticed I can get like that and I just want to, and it's because I'm letting the anger is showing up on my shoulders. Stress is another form of anger. Joy is in that, on your spine and your core. Look at where fear is, John.
This is where the belly laugh comes from.
That's where the belly is. Think
no,
about emotional eating. Why so many people have emotional eating and they want to eat? It's because they are fearful of something.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That's the belly
Sexual
laugh.
feelings is another one that's kind of a given. So, John, you can go ahead and close that.
Close that.
Yeah, go ahead and close your screen and then people can see us. Well, so the reason I had him share that is when I first started learning this, I didn't know how to identify what I was even feeling.
By the way, there's a lower level, but we didn't get into.
There is a lower level, the sexual feelings. It's
Yeah.
It's okay. We can say that.
But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So when I first started growing in this, I didn't know. The reason I would respond with nothing was because I didn't know what I was feeling.
Wow.
I didn't know how to
Wow.
identify it. So I had to start as very basic. And
Wow.
so I would do that deep breathing that Dr. A talks about and listen to where I felt it. Sometimes I still couldn't feel it after doing that a couple times. So I would literally lay down on the floor on my back.
Wow.
And breathe deep like that a couple times and listen to where I felt it. And then just trust that you're feeling in the right place. You're not making it up. Your emotions are trying to give you a signal. And so listen to where you're feeling it. You could even think about the hard situation you're going, and when you're thinking about that situation, do some deep breathing and think about, what am I feeling right now? Like, it's helped me identify, like, I remember sometimes my kids have had health issues and they were going through some stuff, and I was like pushing through, trusting God, but then I'm like, what am I feeling? And so I started thinking about that situation and did the deep breathing and realized it was fear. I was afraid that, am I going to know how to take care of my children? I don't know the answers here. I don't know what to do. What do I do as a mom? How do I take care of them? And it led me to figuring out where can I go to find some answers to be able to help them. Instead of being paralyzed by the fear, I use it as a signal to open the door to be able to find some answers. And we'll get to that at some point of how to do that. But so that simple step of starting with recognizing, one, it's okay to have emotions. God gave you emotions for a reason. Two, you can choose to identify where the emotion is, and then you get to choose how to respond to it and what to do with it. And we'll be talking more about that down the road.
Grace, this is so powerful. The only bummer about anger is you can't lay down on the floor if you're real mad right now. But the breathing is a good idea. I mean, when you're angry, you can, and I get angry at times.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong again with anger, but
Yeah.
how do I, so even Grace,
This is fantastic.
and we're going to come back again and you're going to give us some techniques, tools, or whatever.
Yeah.
Once we identify the emotion, what we could do.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fantastic. And
I was
folks,
gonna
Yeah.
tell you one more thing too. Just so you know, our health program, it taps into more than just physical weight. Like, so his wife and a daughter, they started for physical health reasons, but if you don't learn to transform your mind, you'll go back to old habits. So the cool thing about our program is anybody can dig into these books. That's what John's doing. Anybody can read those books. You do not have to be on a physical health journey. If you want to transform your mind and learn how to respond to health in a healthy way, you can access these books. They're even on Amazon. You don't have to be a client to access these. John just happens to be one of my clients because I'm working with his family. And so it is something that anybody can get a hold of these.
and Grace, you mentioned last time, I would say if I was looking at this book, maybe both books, about maybe this much out of this is going to be dealing with really the eating part.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what and the rest of the part, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I would say about at least 85% is on mindset with habits to support.
Mindset.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is
Very powerful book.
very good read, very good read. It's very readable
Mhm.
and yeah.
And it's meant to take time to go through. Like, it's
yeah.
not like I'm going to be done in a week type thing. It actually meant to take about a year to go through. And when you have, if you have a lot of transforming mind to do, like, I'm still referring to that book, and I've been on this journey for 17 years as a coach. There's still things I'm learning from it. And so it's a very powerful tool. Yeah.
Well, guys, again, I hope if you want to know more about Grace, get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Because I would love to connect you guys together. Because Grace, what a difference you're making in our life today.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity. It's an honor. So
And
I hope
thanks
you
for
guys
being-
all have a great day.
You too. God bless and thanks for being on Chaplain Chat.